knowledge of the science and geometry of the golf swing. And I find this really very interesting because, like many of you, I did science and geometry at school, and yet I would say that I hardly understood any of it. And I think an awful lot of that is due to being a very practical person, not having a practical way to use the science that I was being offered. And since I've got into the science and geometry of the golf swing, I've understood so much more of what I did, when I was, a long way back. So we're talking about things like angular momentum, centrifugal and centrifugal forces, gravity, angles, lag, Newton's laws, plane, line of compression. So many things here that we need to have some basic understanding of to help us to decide what to do and when to do it compared to the client that we have in front of them. Well, how will you get these skills? Well, I can only tell you how I found out about them, because I'm sure there's many ways of getting there, and there's quite a few golf books on the science of the golf swing, which I recommend you look up all of those. But where I got a massive amount of my information from was the Golfing Machine and Joe Daniels, who for me, as much as he's an expert in the works of Homer Kelly, he is an engineer and a mathematician, and has an incredible understanding of the geometry and science of the golf swing. So he's a constant encyclopedia for me in this regard, and I certainly recommend picking up that book. And to some degree, from my experience over 20 years of training golfers to become golf coaches, it's been the engineering based people that have got logical, analytical and people skills that are fundamentally the most successful and innovative coaches, because they're trying to apply science, geometry and forces in the correct manner, because that's all we're doing with the club head, club face, club shaft and the ball. We're applying science as well and consistently as we possibly can do. So without a doubt, the Golfing Machine is part of that process for me. How will you know you have it? Well, as much as it opens up a vision of what it is that you've got in front of you and how you can influence it, what angles you can influence, how you can use science to influence it, and to some degree how you can explain that to your client. And I think to some degree it will help you choose the correct correction on occasions, because you know those angles, forces and so on will make such a difference. So what would it get me? Well, again, the ability to increase the functionality of the golf swing. That knowledge that you will accrue from studying the science of the golf swing the biggest application will be the ability to always be able to add distance, which is what so many people want. So because when we get all of these forces aligned, we apply the force at the right time, we apply it in the right direction at the right angle, then we can increase the club head speed that hits that ball. And the direction, how we create spins and highs and lows, these will always also have a dramatic effect on what we can do to help people's performance. So it will definitely inspire you to be able to make better decisions about choosing the correction and then better decisions about how you go about making those changes. I think that what you avoid for the most part is just pure unprofessionalism, but it's that pure lack of knowledge that means that if you don't have this knowledge, then you are more likely to make the wrong decision about what you choose and how you go about it. But to not comprehend the basics of science within the golf swing, I think, is a fundamental error of any coach, and they definitely should seek to understand as much as possible within their academic capabilities, but certainly as much as you possibly can, or at least as much as practical within the golf swing in your client. So once again, thank you for listening.